Well, hello, hello. Welcome to the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast. I'm so sorry about the technical difficulty. You know how these sticky keys are in terms of like laptops and stuff like that. I feel like sometimes it's hard to like, I don't know, it just feels like it's like sandpaper gliding across where your mouse is supposed to be. But I don't know, kind of like maybe just like a rub on the desk, it'll help, right? Help the smooth and the consistency, But anyways, guys, thank you for tuning into the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. We have a great show for today lined up. We have our WWE Monday Night Raw review. We have our WWE NXT preview, and we're also going to get into NXT Battleground. We're also going to get into New Japan Professional Wrestling's Dominion, which is happening on June 9th, which is a Sunday. And we're going to cap it all off with Tuesday. Of course, we have Eric's Tuesday today in wrestling history. We jump into my DeLorean. If you guys, watched the old Back to the Future, like we're gonna go back in time. We're gonna look at some instances. We are on today, June 4th. We're gonna go back in time, and it's gonna be dope. It's gonna be dope. It's gonna be fun. But before I move on, before anything, I want to remind you guys to use the tips and donations link at the GSMC podcast.net. Give me your questions, your thoughts, your predictions, and give me your own promotions. Give me, something that you're thinking about. Give me a shout out of where you're listening from. Be like, hey, it's Dale from, Springfield, or, it doesn't really matter. Just, send some love here at the GSMC Sports Network. We do love peace, love, and positivity all the way. Remember to Superman punch that like and subscribe button to the show so you guys can see more of this guy. Again, the link is at the GSMCpodcast.net. All right, so let's go ahead and dig right on into it. Our first segment we have our WWE Monday Night Raw review. So just to waste a little time, let's go ahead and jump around into the subject matter. So it started with Liv Morgan, basically patting herself on the back, saying that she was the reason she put Rhea on the shelf, which is highly, it's untrue. It's not like it's something that Rhea Ripley or it's something that Ray could have controlled or even Liv Morgan could have controlled. But I feel like Liv Morgan, the way she's kind of going right now, it does seem like she's kind of larger than life in terms of Monday Night Raw. Like I'm kind of happy to see them kind of push her. I felt like maybe there would have been a little reluctance pushing Liv because her botched moves, her lack of trying to cut a good promo, and just like I don't know, like you see her demeanor, she doesn't really look like that much of a serious champion, so to speak. But the way WWE is kind of doing it, they're doing it patiently, and I feel like they're doing a good job. It all depends how it's gonna all play out, into the She said she sent Becky Lynch into an early retirement, which is always like a foreshadow. It's always a foreshadow. That just means Becky Lynch is definitely 110% going to sign with the WWE. I know a lot of people be like, Eric, what do you mean? Like, that's just something people always say, but that's it's. I've watched wrestling for a long time, my whole entire life. I took a little break during the dark ages, but eventually came back to wrestling. And being brutally honest, whenever somebody said something like that, there's always a shocking return when they come back, and there was like no way. Then Michael Cole's like, oh, Becky must have signed a contract. She's with WWE. Like there's always got to be something like that. So and of course she keeps kissing Dominik Mysterio. Dominic, kind of having this overall. Um, Romantic relationship. I don't really mind romantic relationships, but I swear in the past with WWF, it's always been kind of not the best idea. I know there's been some situations where it's kind of worked out. Obviously, you have Triple H and Stephanie McMahon. Obviously, what didn't work out was Bobby Lashley and Rusev and Lana and Rusev and Dolph Ziggler. Like Dolph Ziggler, Vicky Guerrero, Eddie Guerrero. I feel like Eddie Guerrero and the Chinaman was, it was pretty cool, but it wasn't really like too like explicitly romantic. So I feel like in that case, it's like a pass, kind of like how Rhea Ripley and Dominic Mysterio's kind of was. Not really like any like seducing or rubbing of the hair or like touching the chest, like oh Dom, like you know what I mean. Like it wasn't really like that. So obviously there's some discrepancy in terms of that. Next we see Sheamus finally getting his hands on Ludvig Kaiser. This match was actually one of the best matches in Raw so far ever since Paul Levesque took over. I liked how Sheamus was able to hang inside the ring with the younger Ludvig Kaiser. just shows that Sheamus still has a lot in the tank. He's definitely the Celtic Warrior. He ain't going nowhere. Definitely the respect is still up there, and I guess they got a lot of backstage praises and stuff like that for the match. So I just thought that was cool. It's always cool to give credit whenever credit's due. And Ludvig Kaiser did such a great job, and so did Sheamus. And they tore the house down. They tore the house down. Of course, Ludvig Kaiser, he controlled the match. And another thing that I really liked is that Ludvig Kaiser, he won clean. He won clean. Well, he won clean-ish. He won heel clean. Heel clean means that you either basically no outside interference, no weapons or anything like that. He targeted the knee of Sheamus, which ultimately kind of led to, the demise and stuff like that. And then you saw the prepare QR code pop up from Uncle Howdy. So, that's coming up pretty darn soon. Next, we have Dragon Lee against Finn Balor. Of course, Dragon Lee was, kicking ass, and then Carlito and JD McDonough of the Judgment Day came and, had to help out Finn Balor. Finn Balor, they beat down Dragon Lee. Strowman comes out to help. Of course, as well as the LWO, with Rey Mysterio, Dragon Lee. Now you have Braun Strowman, which is kind of cool. I kind of like how they're kind of keeping that open. I would like to see potentially, maybe since Damien Priest can't really rely on JD, Finn, or Carlito to kind of get the job done, to be like, you know what, maybe I got to do it myself. Maybe we see, because I really honestly want to know why they brought Braun Strowman back to the WWE if it wasn't going to be because Uncle Howdy. So I was hoping that he was going to be on the stable. Obviously, you have you have Eric Rowan, you have a couple other names that I was like, yeah, it's a little surprising, like Dexter Loomis, Nikki ASH, and then of course you have Bo Dallas. So it should be interesting to kind of see what they do with that. Hopefully they try to pursue Braun Strowman in a way, because right now I feel like he's just kind of floating around. He has his, obviously he has his vendetta against this whole Judgment Day thing. He wants to take him down, which is pretty cool. It can work out for a couple of weeks, but we had 2 weeks of it, so tops we have about maybe a week or 1 week pushing it of Braun Strowman not having a purpose here on Monday Night Raw. So then Carlito was ordered to fight Braun Strowman, and not really jumping too into that. We'll get into that later. Sami Zayn comes out to address the WWE Universe. He challenges Chad Gable, wants to be man to man, but out comes the Alpha Academy. Speaking on Chad Gable's behalf, it was Chad Gable's that classic jerk. He's that classic bully. I thought once when they turned him heel, it was a death sentence for his career. But it's actually turning out kind of good. Like, he's doing really, really well. And when there's always that bully role, there's always someone that could always, like, kind of step up and not be the hero, but like step up and try to deter. Kind of like there's Otis. Otis could stop it, or maybe Sami Zayn could stop it. But now you have a WWE Intercontinental Championship match at Clash at the Castle. Sami Zayn is going to try to shut up Chad Gable. Is it for the best, or did he just basically sign his title away? You have a pissed off Chad Gable, but this could possibly be a setup for Otis turning on Chad Gable, creating that, Shawn Michaels Diesel kind of thing where, you have them fighting against each other at SummerSlam. So, it could be great. It could be great. So Chad Gable ended up coming and attacking Sami Zayn to much chagrin, and he got his match. Once again, it was kind of crazy because once when he was kind of dogging Maxine Dupree, he called her, a failed Barbie experiment, talking about like, back when they were doing the models where the LA Knight was there and you had Mansoor and all that. And it was an obvious fail. He brought that up and I was like, ooh. Then he brought up Akira Tozawa being a ninja in 205 Live and not really working out for him. Went into trying to go after the 24/7 title. He brought that up and I was like, oh my God, that's crazy. And then lastly, he brought up Otis. He couldn't even hold on to his Money in the Bank briefcase. And when he said that, oh my God, I was like, no freaking way he just mentioned that. That's crazy. That's crazy. But, feel bad for Otis. Hopefully he, is going to bounce back, beat the hell out of Chad Gable. He deserves it. So, we have that to, kind of go back on. Otis ultimately stuck to the Alpha Academy. He was stuck in a rock in a hard place. He could have either fought Chad, but he went after Sami, gave him the world's strongest slam, obviously trying to help Gable. Gable was so proud of him. And it's just so demonic. It's just so demeaning at this point. Next we have Braun Breaker against Ricochet. Ricochet is he was injured still with his rib injury. So Braun Breaker, he could have fought Ricochet, I feel like, at 100%, but that didn't really work out that way. Braun Breaker still, I feel like in my eyes, is kind of being downplayed on the Raw roster. I feel like they don't have a good spot for him. I feel like they're kind of pushing that look strong, make him look dominant. Yeah, dude, that only works if you have him fighting actual matches instead of fighting jobbers on a day-to-day basis and attacking people like Ilya Dragunov and Ricochet. So, absolutely crazy. I don't like the way they're taking his character at all. But once again, it was a decent match. There was nothing dirty. Braun Breaker is absolutely impressive. I'm not trying to say he's not. But I'm done. I'm done with these squash matches. I'm done with these backstage attacks. And obviously, yeah, Ilya Dragunov come out to the rescue, or else Ricochet would have been killed. So now you have a match with Ilya Dragunov and Braun Breaker heading toward, WWE Raw next week. So, and then next we're going to move on. We have Kiana James against Natalia. Shocking win by Kiana James, but I loved it. I liked how they're trying to push young talent. Obviously, you had Lyra Valkyria come so close to the Queen of the Ring crown. And then you have Ilya Dragunov being absolutely impressive. You have Carmelo Hayes on SmackDown fighting people like the LA Knight, Cody Rhodes, and Randy Orton. So definitely love how Triple H is kind of handling that situation. But Kiana James, she beat Natalia. I thought this was a huge layup for Natalia. I thought this was ultimately kind of like a build up for her challenging Jordan Grace in the future, but that didn't really work out. Next, you keep having Karrion Kross. Karrion Kross keeps trying to break up the New Day. He said, "Hey Woods, you don't have to follow him around anymore." Woods kind of looked at him like he was like, "Dude, are you crazy?" But he looked a little intrigued. So it's going to be interesting to kind of see, are we heading toward a New Day breakup? Possibly, because Big E's not coming back. He's not coming back anytime soon. It's been reported that he is going to go under stem cell surgery, and hopefully to fix his neck fusion surgery. So hoping the best for Big E. And I just don't want to see the. I just don't want. I'm all down for having singles careers. I'm not against it. I'm not against it at all. But a team like the New Day that's been around for so long, I think they're 10-time tag team champions. If you're gonna break them up, and if you have to do their singles career right, and they tried doing that with other tag teams, and so far WWE has been, as opposed to successful careers, like it's been kind of a goose egg. Of course, there's always the underlying, there's always the exception and stuff like that. But I don't know. I just don't. I kind of hate the way they're hinting at a possible New Day breakup because I wouldn't be a really huge fan of that. But that's just me. That's just me. Next, we saw Braun Strowman fight Carlito. Once again, this is one of those matches that's like, okay, it's kind of building. Maybe this could be a reason why the Raw ratings kind of weren't as high. It's shown they declined this week, and obviously had JD McDonough and Finn Balor. Braun Strowman got a 1-2-3 just like a face first, like just slam it to the mat. Like who does that? Like now in nowadays wrestling, like you can't just go down after like a face first. But of course you saw Dominik Mysterio come back, and the reason why this is so prominent is because Liv Morgan stood between the monster among men, Braun Strowman, and her new squeeze, Dominik Mysterio. So this is kind of heating up. This is getting even the Judgment Day, even Finn Balor, who was totally against Liv Morgan and the idea of Liv Morgan and Dominic Mysterio because you have Rhea Ripley and Mommy. I think right now she's trying to play, favorites with the Judgment Day. She wants the Judgment Day to trust her. She wants to get in close with Dominic Mysterio. And as soon as Rhea comes back, maybe there could be a little bad blood between the Judgment Day and, their newly acquired teammate, Liv Morgan, or not a teammate, more like an ally kind of thing. So I thought that was crazy. Next, you see Sonya Deville once again backstage on Monday Night Raw, confronting Starks and also Shayna Baszler, and they blatantly said they were like, "Hey, you got to leave us alone, man. You got to leave us alone." There was a women's World Tag Team Championship match. It was an impromptu match. You saw Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill go out and fight Stark and Baszler. The match was a no contest. You had interference, which was all right. The other tag team that attacked, they're trying to make a name for themselves. Hopefully, it's kind of building up to like a triple threat match, heading toward that Clash of the Castle. That would be pretty badass. Next, you see Jey Uso makes makes an appearance in the crowd, and he declares himself in the Money in the Bank. I guess the Money in the Bank on Saturday, 4 weeks away. which isn't bad. I feel like these WWE pay-per-views and these PLEs are going by so fast. Like it's always like one after another, like bing, bang, boom. I feel like we just had King and Queen of the Ring. Like it's it's crazy. It's happened now. Now we have Clash at the Castle, and then then you're gonna have Money in the Bank. And dang, this WrestleMania season is going by pretty. Post WrestleMania season is going by pretty fast. Um, Next, you see Lyra Valkyrie attacked by Io Sky. They're going to fight each other next week on Monday Night Raw. The New Day against AOP was an easy win for the AOP. They're trying to tear apart Woods and Kofi Kingston. It's going to be pretty crazy to kind of see if that actually works. Karrion Kross could be pretty manipulative, and he's the leader. He's kind of like the leader of the Final Testament. He could bring the dark side out on anybody. So obviously, you kind of have AOP kind of on it right now. So it should be interesting to kind of see that moving forward. Next, we have the main event. We have Rey Mysterio, the Hall of Fame luchador, against Damien Priest. It was well fought, surprisingly, despite the size differential. That just shows these two dudes could definitely put on a wrestling show. Never really, discriminated or never really kind of talk crap about their in-ring capabilities. It was well fought. It wasn't bad. You saw Dragon Lee uh, fighting Carlito, and then ultimately Drew McIntyre was attacked by no, Drew McIntyre attacked Damian Priest. Damian Priest was still able to pick up the win. It was kind of crazy because I feel like Drew McIntyre's attack on Damian Priest ultimately kind of backfired. He ended up going through an announce table, which was pretty bad. But so now you just have Monday Night Raw. I feel like Monday Night Raw is slowly kind of revolving around the Judgment Day, which kind of hints at like maybe perhaps, kind of building up that breakup to something that, that's, like a foregone conclusion instead of speculation. So, yeah. All right, moving on. We have our WWE NXT preview. It has already aired on the East Coast. It's airing right now on the West Coast. Can't wait to watch it on the USA Network. So do not go anywhere. We're going to dive right on into this.